Episode 430 of the Pancakes and Powerslams show. We're going to talk about, is the Undertaker retiring from pro wrestling? Whoa, let's go. PNP Nation, Wrench Mob, let's go!
Yeah. You already know what time it is. It's that official time where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the power of pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really couldn't devour him. And from that point, then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Powerslam show. Let's go. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam show. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam show. Turn it up.
New and improved video intro, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? Episode 430 of the Pancakes and Powerslam show. I am Chris Featherstone, as always. Thank you, Marissa. Nice intro, Marissa says. Thank you very much. You know how it is. I do it for you, so I'm all about upgrading and continuing to do more. To do more and to have fun with you all. I think this is a little bit too loud, so let me turn this down. There we go. Is that better? Mic better? Check 1 2 check. Like the roadie right now. Check 1 2 check. My SOC in the house. My good buddy Jordan. What's up, Hollywood? What's up, man? What's up, SOC? Alonzo, looking forward to another great show tonight. Good stuff, y'all. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? For those who weekly listeners of the show, weekly viewers of the show, we are, for the foreseeable future, we're going to actually start at 11:30 instead of 11 for 8 years. We started at 11 o'clock, but I got a really cool offer to actually take my weekly interviews that I have here on the Pancakes and Power Slam show and take them over to Sports Kita. So for the first half hour of the show, it's going to be my interviews, and we're going to be live at on Sports Kita. So, yeah, Marissa, we're going to talk about that tonight. Is the Undertaker retiring? Oh yeah, had an amazing 5-part series of the last ride. It was really, really good, man. It was fantastic. So, of course, we got hashtag Ask Chris questions. Hashtag Ask Chris questions. And we're going to have some fun, y'all. You know how we do it here on the Pancakes and Power Slam show. We have fun every single week. The spot is lit right now. Chat room is hot. And we're going to have a lot of fun as we do always. Hashtag Ask Chris. Of course, we got some headlines. My guy, Evan, he's not feeling well today, so he may be on, he may not. I think our Russell War 89 flavor of the week is going to be contended upon if he makes it or not. If not, we'll do a flavor of the week. We'll do listener's choice. We'll do PNP Nation's choice flavor of the week for tonight at the end of the show. Got a few headlines, and we're going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. Alonza, what's up? Alma, how do you become a member of the Wrench Mob? Is there an application I need to fill out? Hey, that's a perfect segue. In order to become a member of the Wrench Mob, you can be a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/pancakes and powerslams. After 3 months of the top tier, and my guy Cole, he says it's cheaper than a cheeseburger. Oh, it's only $5.99 a month. Are you kidding me? All the stuff I do for y'all, I'll do it for you. Only $5.99 a month. This is the 430th straight week of the Pancakes and Power Slam show. We do this every single week. We have so much fun, and I appreciate you giving back to us. So 3 months, you become a Wrench Mob member, and you also get a T-shirt, a Pancakes and Power Slams show logo T-shirt. And after 6 months, you actually get a hashtag Wrench Mob shirt. So it has Wrench Mob in the front, hashtag Wrench Mob in the front. On one sleeve, one side of the sleeve, it has the Pancakes and Power Slam show logo. And on the other side of the sleeve, it actually has your name. It is personalized, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is. So patreon.com/pancakes and power slam show. All the fun stuff that we do here every week for 8 years. This show has been every single week. This is the 8th year of the Pancakes and Power Slam show. 8 years and almost 3 months of the Pancakes and Power Slam show. And we have fun every single week. And I'm sure that a lot of people can attest to that. The chat room is absolutely lit tonight, and I love every single bit of it. Have I been to the gym? Of course I've been to the gym. I work out 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at the gym. And every week. It opened back up a couple weeks ago. And I went, and I go every day. I mean, every weekday, Monday through Friday. I am there. I'm at the gym. I'm a gym guy. Love the gym. Absolutely. Ask Chris questions. What we got? Shane, I'm doing well. Doing well. Mobile lives easier than PC. Doing well, Shane. Thank you. Thank you for coming. SOC, dude, it's fancy. Man, you know, I try my best. I try my best. Yeah, man, 8 years. 8 years. This is the 430th episode of the show. And you want to talk about fancy, man? I got something else fancy for you. You ready? You ready? You ready? Boom! Fancy. Hold on, I got something else for you. I got something else fancy for you. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. You want fancy? Well, you got fancy. All right. So, so there you go. Absolutely. All right. How's everybody doing? Ask Chris. Looks like Alma won the steal the headline for this week. We are going to talk about Charlotte Flair's injury. It is legit. It is legit. So we will talk about the details of that. Nice woo. Yes, Mo is actually a patron, a dedicated patron. Mo is actually a part of the Wrench Mob, a faithful Wrench Mob member, and very happy about that. My guy. Rumor is she'll be out for several months. Perhaps Nia's attack was a cover for that. That is correct. Well, Charlotte might get pregnant by Andrade during their time off, like Buddy Becky. Yes, Mo, you are correct. I love working out. If you follow me on IG at Chris Prolific, you will see a lot of workout pictures and workout videos. I love working out. I love working out. Like Scott Steiner. Nobody's finer. Scott Steiner says nobody's finer. But you see, they'll let me do Steiner math on you. I will give you a run for your money. Big Papa pumps your hookup. Holler if you hear me. There's my Scott Steiner impersonation there. You didn't know I could do Scott Steiner. You know who could do a really good Scott Steiner impersonation? Brian Cage. Brian Cage does a really good Scott Steiner impersonation. The guy's hilarious. He does a really good Scott Steiner impression. And next time I have Brian Cage on the show, I'm going to have him do his Scott Steiner impression live. It would be funny. Brian Cage is creeping his way up to be a part of the Five Timers Club. He's been on the show 3 times, I think. 3, yes. He's been on the show 3 times, maybe even 4. I think 3. Man, I got the count. Five Timers Club include Ken Anderson is in the Five Timers Club. Sean Davari is in the Five Timers Club. JTG is in the Five Timers Club, I think. I know he's been on a lot, but I know I had a special interview. I had a special Monday night with him when we were talking about ACH. So it may actually just be 4. I'll have to check and see. But I know for sure Ken Anderson, Sean Davari, Marty Elias is also in the Five Timers Club. There's a bunch of 3 Timers Club, though. Lance Archer's in the 3 Timers Club. Oh, Black Bart's in the Five Timers Club. I know I'm missing some. There's a lot in the 3 Timers Club, though. Lance Archer, JTG, Eric Bischoff is in the 3 Timers Club. Yeah. A few 2-timers. Vince Russo. DDP is a 2-timer. D-Lo's a 2-timer. Yeah. Good stuff. You know, Alonzo, this is a really good question. I was thinking about this earlier, actually. Why does Extreme Rules not have any stipulations to the matches yet? That makes no sense. No sense. 0. None. It's Extreme Rules, and you're having a regular match between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Makes no sense. We got a lot of newbies in the PNP Nation tonight. So I will go ahead and read your SLC. This is my guy, man. This is my guy. Fancy graphics. Yeah. Absolutely, Alonzo. You know how we do it here in the Pancakes and Powerslams show. So go to Patreon, show your love. I appreciate each and every one of you. Go show your love on the PNP show. All right, so we got some really good Ask Chris questions. Let's what's up, Josh? Welcome, Josh, to the show. Ashley's a newbie to the PNP Nation. Welcome, Ashley, to the show. What was Edge's announcement on Raw? Haven't seen it yet. Well, he was he had a really good promo. He talked about how he tore his tricep. He said he's not done. I mean, when he comes back, he's gonna go after Orton. So he's not done. Monty is a newbie. Welcome Monty to the PNP Nation, everybody. Got some really, really cool newbies to the PNP Nation family. So welcome Monty to the PNP Nation. I love your avatar. What do you think Bray Wyatt has as a new Wyatt family? I'm very curious about that. Good question, Monty. I am too, and I liked it. I actually liked SmackDown. I actually enjoyed SmackDown. Raw wasn't bad either. Last week's Raw I actually enjoyed a lot. But SmackDown was actually pretty solid. And I think Bray, I like what they're doing. So you could tell it has Pritchard written all over it because it has storylines that are developing. It's really it's old school. It's very old school. It has that old school vibe to it. The storyline feel. It's taking some time. It's leaving some cliffhangers. I absolutely love it. And I do like the fact that they're adding layers to Wyatt's character. What it seems like is the Fiend may be the end. I mean, seemingly, I think it's quite obvious that the Fiend is going to be at the end of the tunnel, essentially, and the Fiend actually may beat him at the end because he started off with the the workouts, Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt, and then he's at the old school Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family Bray Wyatt, and then from what I gather, it seems like he's going to beat Bray. He's going to lose to Braun, and then the next step would be the Fiend, and then the Fiend probably will maybe beat Braun actually. So, and then the good thing is, I think this would be really, really good because I think we'll probably see Braun and the Fiend at SummerSlam because WWE wants to open back up with a live crowd in SummerSlam. So you want those marquee matches. So what you do is you have that type of match. You have those big matches, and I think that's a good way to continue the feud, while they're in the PC still. So you have old school Wyatt family Bray right now, which is good. You can make some theatrics, and you can change the editing when it comes to that. I mean, they're taping their shows, and they tape Backlash and all that. So, so that's what they're doing now, which is cool. I mean, you don't have any, you don't have fans when you have the PC trainees, but you don't really have that energy of the crowd. So I think it's good, man. You got 2 months before Mania. You can do Wyatt family Bray for July, and then from July building up to SummerSlam, you have the Fiend come back. That was a good way to keep him off. You don't want the Fiend to be oversaturated. You don't want him to be overexposed. So I like it, man. I like it. I'm a fan of it. What other Ask Chris questions do we have? Jeff is new to the PNP Nation. Welcome, Jeff, to the PNP Nation. We got some newbies to the PNP Nation tonight. Welcome all of them, guys. As you see, there's a lot of people live right now in the chat. We have a lot of fun every single week. 430 episodes of the Pancakes and Powerslam show. Jeff is asking, did you notice in Father's Day video with his daughter, Mysterio's injured eye was on the opposite side? I didn't see that. I didn't notice that, but that is funny. I love little things like that, Jeff, little observations like that. That is very, very funny. Can I get Big Papa Pump on my show? I'll work on that. I'll work on getting Scott Steiner on my show. The Deck Freak. I'll work on that. I actually have a really I have a good contact. I have a good inside track who is a pro wrestler, a friend of mine, and this pro wrestler is friends with Scott, and actually talked to Scott about coming on my show. He doesn't like doing interviews, but I'll try again. I'll try again. I'll have my contact, my friend who's a pro wrestler, see if Scott can be contacted again to come on my show. Marissa says, "Welcome newcomers." Absolutely. Lonzo say, "I bet we'll get Brock back by SummerSlam." We should. We should. It's it's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Other than the Rumble, I mean, SummerSlam is viewed as the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Although I enjoy the Rumble more than SummerSlam. Plus, they're starting to have the Rumble in baseball stadiums, so I'm a big fan of that too. Love that stadium feel. It has a really larger than life stadium feel in those big arenas. So Rumble's doing more of that, so I love that. Daniel says, "Nah, I think Vince finally learned his lesson on the Brock mistake. That's why he let McIntyre go over." I think I said this before on my show. I think we should see Brock McIntyre again, and I think McIntyre should beat Brock twice at Mania and SummerSlam, like Seth Rollins did. So I think, Drew needs to rub. Seth beat Brock twice, and so in 1 year, and so I think Drew should do the same thing. Like Brock Lesnar losing doesn't hurt him at all. I mean, he can destroy everybody in the backstage. So him losing, doesn't do anything. So I think by him being away and then putting him over, so I'm cool with it. I'm cool with Brave. I'm cool with Braun versus the Fiend at SummerSlam. Although they may at that time they may be trying to incorporate Roman back. So we'll probably see either Braun versus Roman or Braun versus Bray. And so I think that's a decent match. I mean, that's a marquee enough match for SummerSlam. And then I think we'll see Drew versus Brock again. And we should. I think we should. I think Drew should go over Brock when there's people there. I said that on my show before. And I stick to it. Lonzo's asking, what are my thoughts and opinions on the SmackDown debut of Matt Riddle? I think it was cool. I mean, I think, you know how I do my dance. I think I'm cool. I'm cool with it. I think it was a good way to bring in Riddle. I think Riddle's over. I think his character is fun. And I just don't know how long Vince is going to be dedicated to Matt Riddle, though. That's my thing. I just don't know how long he's going to be dedicated to Matt Riddle. There's a part of me that just feels like there's an expiration date on the main roster with Riddle. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. I think he was better. I think he was best fit for NXT to be North American, in the North American Championship hunt and the World Championship hunt. I think, I mean, he did vie for the North American Championship before, but and the world title. But I think Matt Riddle should have still been like heavily involved. And I liked him and Pete Dunne. Now I do understand that they had to, they had Timothy Thatcher and they had to split them up because of COVID and Pete Dunne's being in the UK. So I get that, and that may have been a reason why they decided to bring him to the main roster. Kurt Angle, they wanted Kurt Angle to be his manager, but Kurt Angle turned it down. So it's just Matt Riddle. It's just his character is fun and exciting, and I like it. Matt Riddle's a really cool character, but yeah, I just don't know how long Matt Riddle as a character is going to last. Before Vince just kind of, you know how Vince is, man. If he sees something kind of turning, like it's curtains, he turns it all the way south. So we'll see. I hope he succeeds. I'm not quite sure how long Vince is going to invest in him. What other Ask Chris questions do we have? Again, Ask Chris. That's like Ask Chris. Wonderful interaction tonight at as always, but the Ask Chris sticks out. Did Billy Gunn ever get back to you about Josh Riddle? Did he? I don't think he did. I don't. He's Billy Gunn's been on the show twice, and actually I've interviewed him 3 times, and very responsive. He picks up his phone, but he didn't respond to me with that. So, so I guess there's no interest in Josh Riddle at this point. But I think that Josh would be a good addition to AEW personally. Daniel's he's game for my idea of Drew beating Brock again at SummerSlam. Yeah, I mean that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Brian, did we discuss Taker into Hall of Fame? I'm thinking who would induct Taker? I'm thinking Vince. No, we didn't discuss that, but I think Kane would be the person who would induct him. I think Kane's the way to go. What other Ask Chris questions do we have? Elvis is asking, why is it if someone asks a champion for a title match, that person is granted a title match? Whatever happened, number one considers. I'm giving you a round of applause, my man. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? Next week, I'm going to fly to Orlando. All right. I'm going to go to the PC, and I got some people. I know some people who will let me in, and I'll say, I want a title shot. I want a title shot tonight. Okay. Drew McIntyre, I want a title shot, and I'm going to give me a title shot. So I guess right now at this point, anybody is fair game to ask for title shots, and that's just the way it's going to be. So, let me lower my camera here. Yeah. Robbie's asking, we haven't heard of any special stipulations like steel cage or last man standing for Extreme Rules, or are these just regular matches or what? Yeah. That was a question asked before. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. It's Extreme Rules. So what's the theme? There's no stipulations yet. I'm sure there probably will be, but I mean, it doesn't make sense. I'd imagine that they'll build their way up to saying stipulations, I guess. Maybe the storyline is going to be drawn to eventually tag a stipulation on each of them, but it doesn't make sense to say, hey, I'm here from SmackDown. I was a mid-card on SmackDown. And no disrespect to Dolph Ziggler. I mean, he's one of the best workers still in the world. But, I mean, the way that WWE uses him is definitely not main event worthy and hasn't been for a number of years. So it's a given. I mean, it's as given as when Braun Strowman beat Miz and Morrison. Like, you know that Miz and Morrison wasn't going to win that match. It was a given that Braun was going to win. I'm not necessarily opposed to Drew versus Dolph because there's a story behind it, and Dolph did his best to try to kind of bring that story out. But I mean, get some equity behind Dolph though. Build some equity behind him before you're just throwing matches because he's not he doesn't have enough steam to just say I want a match. It should have been like a 5-way or something like that. And then next week is when you build the story and you do it that way. So I think it was just premature to do that. And if there's no stipulation to it, it makes it even worse. And if you're building to a stipulation, you shouldn't have announced it. You should have just waited. Let time build. That was a very big critique I had about Raw. And then he said, "Okay, I'm going to bring me and my partner Robert Roode, but I want a singles match for the title at a pay-per-view." Yeah, it's a bit off. Doesn't make much sense. Yeah. All right, so we have a lot. I have some Extreme Rules questions for y'all. Some trivia. Okay, so I got some trivia for y'all. So get ready. Ready? Here we go. First trivia question. Who did CM Punk cash the Money in the Bank briefcase on at Extreme Rules 2009? Who did CM Punk cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on at Extreme Rules 2009? Trivia question on deck. Jeff is asking, I think Rusev would get rehired now that they finally split Lashley and Lana. No, I don't. He was unhappy with being there too. Looks like he's heading to Impact at Slammiversary. Good call, Monty. Dress up as a ninja, take back the 24/7 7-Eleven I-95 South European Television Championship. I love R-Truth, man. He's that's my guy, man. Nice guy too. I've talked to him on the phone, and texted back and forth with him. He's a nice guy. Sasha versus Asuka. Who do I pick? I like to see Sasha and Bayley with both belts, tag them both world titles. Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that want to see that because Sasha is getting shortchanged, but it seems like it's clear that they're building up for Sasha and Bayley. And plus, I love Asuka. I mean, finally, Asuka, it's like she received like this. Her SmackDown title reign was kind of quiet because it wasn't really. They didn't really make her like a really big focal point, and then losing to Charlotte at Mania. And so I think finally Asuka's got her stride. Finally, she's got her stride. And I'm fine with it. I'm cool with it. She's a babyface again. She's super over. Great match against Charlotte. And I think finally, as a babyface, she's got her stride again. So I think you need to just strike while the iron's hot, keep that momentum rolling. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, essentially. Keep that momentum rolling with Asuka. She's one of the most over people, in the WWE right now. She's still got that energy, just keep it going. Keep it going. Keep that belt on Asuka for a while because it's actually making me interested in the women's division more than I have in a long time. Alonso's asking, no guest interview. So here's the deal. Looks like you missed this, Alonso. So I actually got a opportunity to actually got an opportunity. Hold on real quick. Trying to copy this here. All right, so I actually got an opportunity. Hold on real quick. I'm texting, doing some business here, some business live, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Some live business. I got some big names right here. Actually, I have a real big name. So no guest interviews. So my interviews now. I got a lucrative deal. I got a deal. To I got offered by Sportskeeda to actually have my interviews exclusive on their page at 11 o'clock every Tuesday. So Pancakes and Powerslam show is so popular that it's actually being exclusive on Sportskeeda every Tuesday starting today. Vince Russo, I was chatting with Vince Russo today, 11 o'clock on the Sportskeeda IG Live. And he was via chat. He was using his desktop, so he didn't know too much about IG. I didn't know. I really didn't know too much about IG Live either. So he was on the chat. So we're trying to get some kinks for him to actually be on video. So from now on, for the foreseeable future, from now on, all of my interviews, I'll start the Pancakes and Powerslam show with an interview. Those interviews will now be exclusive through Sportskeeda. They offer me a pretty lucrative deal to take my interviews over to them. So Pancakes and Powerslam show is good stuff. All right, so I'm making some deals, man. I'm making some deals. It's we're live, pal, and I'm texting a big name here. Okay. We're live, pal. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, cool. So good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. So that's so yeah, go to Sportskeeda. Go to Sportskeeda's Instagram page on Tuesdays at 11 now, and that's where the interview section of the PNP Nation would be. I'm merging with Instagram Live, so it's my PNP interview section and their Instagram Live specials. So it's a merge now, and then we'll be starting the show at 11:30. So from 11:30 to 1. So the first 30 minutes of the PNP is merged with Sportskeeda's Instagram, and the rest of the 90 minutes, we're here having fun as always. So that is some formatting changes for you. So we had new intro music. I like my old intro music too. I'll bring it back now and then, but since it's truncated, since this part is only 90 minutes, I have a long list of intro music actually, but I only like a few of them as far as frequent. So we truncated the intro, but we popped the Pancakes and Powerslams intro now. As you saw, it was really cool. Major upgrades on the PNP intro, and you could have saw that if you was a patron. There was a sneak peek. There's some patrons that saw that sneak peek. So I'll start doing a bunch of more sneak peeks. For the patron members. So, okay, yes, Alonzo, Jeff Hardy, good job, Alonzo. Or should I say, if I was Mike Adamley, Jeff Harvey. Next, the 2017 Extreme Rules main event with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. versus Bray Wyatt versus blank to determine the number one contender for the Universal Championship. That's the next trivia question on deck. So for those who are new to the Pancakes and Powerslams show, not only do we have the funnest, most awesomest chat in the whole nation, the PNP Nation, and for those who are patrons, the Wrench Mob, we also have weekly trivia. We talk about headlines. We talk a little bit about Raw and SmackDown, just a little bit. Just we do some grades. And at the end of the show, we do what's called a Flavor of the Week, which is a random wrestling discussion topic. My boy Evan Tech Prout, the co-host of the show. He's not feeling well right now. If he's feeling well, we'll do Wrestle War. Actually, we won't have time to do Wrestle War today because of time. I wanted to do an hour for those the network. So if you don't have the network, get the network. I wanted to start doing an hour of watch parties. All right. So from 12 to 1, I want to start doing an hour-long watch parties and having fun. We're all watching the same thing at the same time. And we're going to have some watch parties and have a lot of fun with it. So that's what I want to start doing with the Flavor of the Week. So for the first half hour, we talk about the headlines, and then the hour after that, we start doing some watch parties. All right, so it should be pretty fun. We'll do headlines and ask Chris questions the first part, and then having fun with watch parties. So grab the network. No, but I will be able to. It's on IG. It's on the Sportskeeda IG page. So this will be. I just won't have time to do the interviews at 11:30. So because my show is already going to be cut short, it's already truncated. So you the man, Brian. You the man. See right here? Right here. See this right here? This is the comment of someone who knows how it goes right here. Who knows how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. My man Brian says, can't blame a man for cashing in on his popularity. Brian gets a hand clap. Brian gets a hand clap. Aaron, yes. Samoa Joe. Good job. Samoa Joe. Elvis says Samoa Joe. Mo says Samoa Joe. Monty says Samoa Joe. Good job. All right, we're going to do one more for now, and then we'll get to the headlines. The recent first-time WWE champion, defeated Sheamus to win the United States Championship at Extreme Rules 2011. Now, I wanted to add the first-time WWE champion to make it a little easier for you because it might be a little hard to remember 9 years ago who won the United States Championship. But I wanted to make it a little easier for you to say this recent first-time WWE champion. So who may that be? Who may that be? Mo agrees with Brian. Yep, exactly. Cash create controversy, or as Eric Bischoff would say, controversy creates cash. Absolutely. Can't blame a man for cashing out on his popularity. That's right, man. Cashing in on his popularity. I agree, Brian. Yes, Mo. Good job. Kofi Kingston is the correct answer. All right, so let's get in this headline. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Headlines. Here we go. All right, so was the Undertaker. Is he retiring from pro wrestling, ladies and gentlemen? Looks like it. According to his documentary, looks like he's done. And here's the thing, man. I think that you just really can't ask for better as far as just a way to go out. I mean, for a long time, and even to this day, in a sense, you know, I think 28 would have been a good way to go out because I still don't ever want to. I didn't want him to lose his streak. I was actually rooting for Roman Reigns at 33 to beat Taker, so I was actually happy that Roman Reigns beat Taker. But that was only a consolation prize for the fact that I still didn't want Taker to lose his streak. I was like, you know what? Since Taker lost once, Roman Reigns is someone good to lose to. So I mean, you've already tarnished your streak. So just lose. Put Roman Reigns over. So, but I still, 28 still for me. I think 28 was the way to go. The only thing about 28 is that I couldn't stand his hair. I'm glad he grew his hair back all the way, long length. So that was a good thing. But yeah, I mean, his documentary, we wouldn't have seen his documentary. We wouldn't have seen this side of the Undertaker. So that's the good part of it, though. You know what I mean? That's the good part of what we were able to experience over the past 6 years since the time that I thought he should have retired. Over the past 6 years, over the past 8 years, actually. Over the past 8 years, I think over the past few, we've seen more not so good Taker moments than we have seen good Taker moments, but the good ones are good. Like Extreme Rules, that was a good feeling. Yeah, I mean, I think Extreme Rules, the Cena spot was okay. It was meh. Cena spot was okay. But it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. The Cena spot wasn't needed. Punk was okay, but it wasn't okay enough for him to come back, after 28. Bray was gave Bray a good opportunity. It was a big moment for him. But I mean, just going through the line, Shane definitely was irrelevant. 32 was absolutely irrelevant. 33 was Roman, 34 was Cena, 35 was nobody, and 36 was AJ. So, I mean, other than 36 and maybe giving Roman the rub at 33, there was only really two big moments after he left. I mean, after 28, there was just only really two big WrestleManias. Was Roman and AJ. But like I said, I think the documentary did a really, really good job with making me hooked on saying, man, this was actually a good thing that he came, and the times that he was open about just the matches that he just totally bombed. The Goldberg match, the tag match with him, BLD against DX, that was a bust. Master Triple H was okay, but I mean, yeah, it was unnecessary. I mean, I didn't really care about it, honestly. I mean, it was a solid match, but yeah, it was okay. So I mean, the documentary did a really, really good job with kind of leading us to what is this, and it was a good documentary. And then toward the end of it, he's like, okay, this is it. Extreme Rules back last July. He was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I feel okay now. I feel like I can say goodbye. And then AJ, calling him up, and it was really good, man. And then, the Boneyard match, Taker said he was expecting a regular match, but the Boneyard match, it just happened. It was such a blessing in disguise because that was such a good way to end. It was such a good swan song. The end, he drives out with the bike. It was a really, really good way, because a lot of people say, and I really don't like this, a lot of people say people should retire, with the loss. They should end their career with the loss as a way of paying it forward. I don't necessarily agree with that, honestly. I don't agree with that. I agree that your legacy can be cemented by a win, actually. Maybe the second to last loss or something like that. But I don't necessarily agree with every single person who ends their career has to lose. That's kind of like an unwritten rule that, I don't think that's necessary. I think Taker's, talking about making people famous. Taker's been wrestling in WWE for 30 years. He's made a lot of people famous. He had a Mania match against Mark Henry, which was huge. He had a Mania, made him famous, more famous by having a big match at WrestleMania with him. His Rumble match against Rey Mysterio. Dude lost to Vladimir Kozlov. Dude lost to Great Khali with his foot. So he has a really good win rate. I think it was like 70 or 75% or something like that, which is good because it protects his character and it makes the people who beat him over. And so if he keeps losing, you're not really getting over. I've said that many times. If you lose all the time and someone beats you, you're not putting them over. You're just losing to somebody else. So Taker, his name and his mystique and his character was so protected that the times that people beat him, it was a big deal. And him losing, I don't think he should have lost his last match because his character was so protected and he's put people over so much. And AJ Styles did not have to win that match to get over. I mean, that match was absolutely amazing. And AJ Styles did a really good job protecting the weaknesses of the Undertaker, as the document showed too, as the document explained too. Styles was the guy, was the guy to do it. He did a really good job protecting the Undertaker, really enhancing his strengths at 55 years old and covering his weaknesses. His pacing, and he's 55. He's been doing this, for 40 years, almost 35 years. So, I think it was a really, really, really good way to end. So, can you believe that he's actually retired from wrestling? It's still a shock to me. One thing for sure, he should have got a bigger send off than Flair did. Even though he's retired now, he'll always be my favorite wrestler. Thank you, Taker. See, here's the thing. I think Taker will be a really good coach in NXT. They showed it in the documentary of him coaching the big guys in NXT. Keith Lee was there. I saw Punishment Martinez, Damian Priest. There's a few, bigger guys that was there. Who else was there? There was a few. There was a lot in that room. What's the dude's Bronson Reed? Bronson Reed. He was in there. I saw a few, people that were in there, big guys. And I think it's cool, yeah. See, yeah, I agree, Ryan. It's the way that he is. No fanfare, no retirement tour, just right off into the sunset. Yeah, that's a great send-off. No, I don't agree, Alonzo. I don't think Brock should have. First of all, I still, to this day, 6 years later, I think that was still a very bad call to have Brock in the streak. No, unnecessary. He didn't need to do that. Still to this day, 6 years later, still bad call. Bad call. Almost says thank you, Taker. No, see, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think going on his back. I don't see. There are certain people who that may make sense to. Okay, that may make sense to, but your character needs to be protected. Shawn Michaels left on his back against the Undertaker, and he's done. And he actually, technically, Shawn Michaels retired with a win because he came back and and he won. But as far as like official retirement, that was just a one-off. But his official retirement, he retired on his back against Taker. Trish Stratus actually retired winning. She lost to Charlotte Flair recently, but again, that was a one-off. She had a Royal Rumble and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean the tag match, she won that. At the Evolution. So, yeah, it was Trish losing to Charlotte. Again, I don't think that was necessary. I didn't think Charlotte needed a rub. Charlotte doesn't need a rub. But it was a marquee match, so I get it. But Trish left winning, so I don't think it's necessary. Austin left against The Rock. So these names are retiring against like equally as big names. Austin retired losing to The Rock. Michaels retired losing to Taker. So if Taker is going to lose, like he better have like a legend, and AJ is a Hall of Famer, one of the best in the world, hands down. But at the same time, Taker retiring on his back it seems so diametrically opposed to me. I think there's just some people you have to continue to protect your character, and I think Taker's one of those people. Oh, for sure. His matches with HBK. Actually, I think 17 was better than the Cell match with Triple H. I think the Cell match was really good in 28. I think the storytelling was really good. That was actually one of the other than Michaels, 28 was actually, and they share this in the documentary too. 28 was actually one of the times that seemingly that streak was going to end. And that was good. That's how you do it. That's because the streak got to the point where the streak was like the marquee of WrestleMania. Like the streak was bigger than the title many years, actually. The streak was more important than the title was. And that's how it should have been. I mean, that's WrestleMania is the granddaddy of them all. And if you want to make the streak a selling point every year, you have someone who can beat the streak and have Undertaker win and have someone else come next year. That's a good selling point again for Mania. Someone who can beat the streak, who can potentially beat the streak. Taker wins the next year. I think it got to the point of not necessarily seeing who can beat the streak. It became more of like, I want to see Taker continue this streak. I actually want this streak to continue and not end. To a lot of people, even people I've talked to, a lot of people actually felt that way. Like, it's not necessarily who can beat the streak. It's more like, okay, it's another year. I actually want this to continue. I want Taker's streak to continue. And that's how it should have been, in my opinion. All right, cool. Let's talk about the next thing, which is Charlotte Flair is out for the rest of the year to undergo injury. So that was a deal. Pro Wrestling Sheet broke this news that I think So they broke the news that Charlotte's going to be out until Royal Rumble. So Meltzer. So the sheet, Pro Wrestling Sheet, confirmed it. Meltzer first reported news of the surgery, and then PW Insider followed it with the report saying that it's an elective procedure, which they've confirmed with sources. So, so it looks like the Royal Rumble, according to Alex McCarthy of TalkSport, is when Charlotte will be back. So, it's this gives an opportunity for others to see. I mean, Charlotte is undoubtedly a huge part of all of wrestling, particularly the women's division. But I think it creates a good challenge. It creates a good challenge of who can actually be there and keep it driving. I think it gives an opportunity to put other people over, because that was one of my gripes with Charlotte. I think she's so over. I mean, I think that she needs to have those moments where she makes others look good, like look good. She did that with Asuka, so I give her kudos for that for sure. We need a couple more of that. Now, you don't want to continue to have Charlotte lose, but a couple moments like, Rhea Ripley, I keep saying that. I think Rhea should have won. If it was a visa issue, if Rhea had to leave, which is the reason why she lost, which, have been reported, I think it should have been Rhea should have beaten Charlotte, and then Charlotte just beat the brakes off for Rhea and caused it to be vacated. And so Charlotte wins the vacated championship. Rhea comes back and eventually beats Charlotte at the takeover before SummerSlam. So, and I even said on our previous show that it should have been Charlotte versus Io, and as a feud, and then Charlotte beats Io, retains her title, and then Rhea Ripley comes back at the end of a takeover. I think that would have been pretty cool. That would have kept Rhea's name and mystique pretty, and momentum pretty high. But like Rhea's just kind of slid right back into NXT without having this big, mystique about her, without having this big aura about her. She just kind of slid right back into it, which WWE has done a terrible job with keeping that aura with Rhea Ripley. That's for sure. Unfortunately, because I really like Rhea. Ask Chris. Who was Taker's biggest rival to me? It was Mick Foley. His match with Foley, Hell in a Cell, was his trademark match. That's a really good question, Shane. I think I'm gonna go. See, you've got a few. You've got biggest rival. You can always say Michaels because they have the 2 matches and the Hell in a Cell match. I mean, those are 3 big matches of Taker's career. And then there's always Kane, right? Because they had a really big feud, and then they, did Brothers of Destruction, and they feuded again, and Brothers of Destruction. So you have Kane. You definitely have Foley. You also have Triple H because they went against each other 3 times at Mania and at Saudi. So that was huge. Then him and Austin around, was around 97, 98 time. Him and Austin was pretty big too. If I had to choose one, I think Foley's a safe bet. I mean, of course, there's always Kane, but I think safe bet's Foley. What I think WWE should go with Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan's quit wrestling. Great segue. Sarah Logan's leaving pro wrestling. She's done. I remember when Evan and I had a kind of like a breaking news type of show, and we literally showed every picture of the person who's of people who are released, and then we talked about where they would go. I think I said something about it'll be tough for Sarah Logan to reestablish herself because her brand isn't popular enough to just go to a show. I think I did something along the lines of maybe female version of the Dark Order. I think I said something about that, perhaps. a female involved in Dark Order, which I think would be cool, actually. I think that's what I pitched, but I mean, that's still far fetched. So, unfortunately, I think that Sarah Logan really has to start over. And you don't have indie wrestling right now because of COVID. So, I mean, you don't have ROH right now because of COVID. You literally have, I mean, this is like old school again. It's WWE and Impact and AEW. I mean, that's really all you got. And then Sarah Logan, her character wasn't strong enough to build momentum to go to another promotion, and she needed a lot of work in the ring too. So I don't know if AEW or Impact was willing to say, okay, well, not only am I going to hire her, I'm going to completely change her character and I'm going to help her work on her in-ring work. So it became very difficult for that. So it was tough. Yeah, it was definitely tough. All right, last we have another trivia question. Triple H lost to blank in the Steel Cage main event at Extreme Rules 2013. Yep. What we got? Triple H lost to blank in the Steel Cage main event at Extreme Rules 2013. There you got Robbie. Robbie says Taker's biggest rival was my Yokozuna. That will literally be his biggest rival. Yes. Aaron thinks yes. Good job. Good job, Alonzo. Brock Lesnar. Good job. Good job. Good job. All right. All right, a couple extras questions, and then you guys choose. Great Raw and SmackDown as I address these. Yeah. Sarah Logan, she's done. She tweeted, she's done. She actually made a tweet and said, let's see. Let's see. Let me pull up the tweet. Pull up here. Let's see. Bringing up Logan's. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me pull up her. Okay. Actually, her Instagram, I'm about to say. It's her Instagram page. Okay, here we go. A lot of change in my life recently. I've stepped away from wrestling for the foreseeable future. Wrestling's all I've known. Actually, let me pull this up. Okay. Let me pull this up here. Let's do it this way. You guys really can see that. Let me enlarge it. And there we go. A lot has changed in my life. Actually, let me bring this down too. There we go. Hold on real quick. Let me bring this down. Let me take this off real quick. All right. A lot of change in my mind in my life recently as I've stepped away from wrestling for the foreseeable future. Wrestling is all I've known since I was 17. So it's time I let myself focus on other things and explore other parts of my life. My Instagram is going to be different, but I promise it always reflect me. So if you want to take this crazy ride, then buckle up because things have been moving faster than I can keep up. My efforts have been on Wild and Free TV, and that's the best way to keep up. We're releasing some awesome content. I don't say this enough, but I appreciate you guys and hope that was wife. So that is her new endeavor, her new business venture, and all the best for her, man. That's great. I love it. I think it's fantastic. All the best for her. Let's see. Grades. Raw B didn't watch Smackdown. Raw B, SmackDown B, they're all both good. I agree. I'll give them both solid Bs. Jason says, welcome, Jason, to the show. New in the PMP Nation. Welcome, Jason. Got a lot of newbies today. I love it. Good stuff, guys. Lots of newbies to the Pancakes and Powerslam show. I hope you guys like the Pancakes and Powerslam show. We have a lot of fun every single week. Raw was good, but they could have done more with Rey Mysterio's son. Yeah, I think they could have done more with Dominic. I agree. Lonzo's asking which Royal Rumble match itself is your all-time favorite. Have I not ever shared that on the show? I thought I have. What is my all-time favorite Royal Rumble? I had to share that on the show before. I think the best one was probably the Flair one. I think as far as best. My personal favorite. I'm thinking of winners. I'm thinking of winners of the Royal Rumbles and which one I enjoyed because I wanted the person to win. So that's what I'm going to look at. My favorite personal Rumble. As crazy as it sounds, I actually enjoyed 04's. 2018 was pretty good too with Shinsuke and Asuka. I think both of those matches were really good. I actually wanted both of them to win. Yeah, so those are a part among my personal favorites. Then the one Undertaker one was actually among one of my favorites too. That was 07. I enjoyed 07. Yeah, those were a few of my favorites. Yeah. Cool. All right. All right. So this is such a big can of worms that we just don't have time to talk about. So we have like 10 more minutes, y'all. So throw a flavor of the week topic for us to talk about for the next 10 minutes. And we will do that. As y'all doing that, here's my very short skeletal thoughts of that. Let's start off with this. major kudos to everyone who's who's speaking out. It's not just females too. Keith Lee actually said something too. So both male and female are doing that, and I think it takes a lot of boldness. It takes a lot of humility, even to a sense. Courage, definitely courage, to speak out, to speak out about abuse. And I think it's, I'm in the forensics. I'm in forensics, so I'm all about the court process. So you're innocent until proven guilty. So definitely not to take away from any of the speaking out stories. And I think again, major kudos to the ones speaking out that are actually legit. Because I do know, I have heard, and I do know that there was some stories that were further hurting someone because they were stalking the wrestler, actually. So I think we need to take everyone case by case. I think widely, I think it's a great way to really relieve someone from that burden of really holding that in for so long. I mean, I'm a mental health therapist, so this is good for I'm hooraying this because as a mental health therapist and soon to be doctor in psychology, I make a living having clients talking through these things. So I think it's good for somebody to do that. I think it's I definitely think that there's a lot more therapy with that person than simply a tweet. I think it's a good start. If a particular case is an actual story that can be verified and it is an abuse case and it is legit, first of all, kudos for you making the courage and the boldness to do something like that. Now, a lot of people would even do something like that. I know people, of course, because of HIPAA, I can't, say names, but there's, people who have held in being abused for years. I mean, years. And it's really jacked them up. It's caused a lot of trauma in their life. It's caused a lot of distrust and inability to trust people. Those are usually the triggers that come with abuse and molestation and any type of sexual violation. Lots of trust issues, the inability to just have someone come in your space to really help you out and just kind of navigate things through with you. You kind of always are on guard. I'm telling you, as a soon-to-be doctor in psychology in a few weeks, a few things that trigger those things. So definitely major kudos for those who have legitimate stories, who have spoken out. And my advice is to get therapy. Get therapy for those things. A simple tweet, I'm just telling you from experience, a simple tweet's not gonna change your life. I mean, it's gonna relieve a big burden that you most likely had for years holding that in, which is great. But I would definitely recommend. It's an uprooting. It's definitely an uprooting when it comes to that stuff. So you need to continue to talk those things out, continue to get into the meticulous details, because a lot of times what happened with that type of trauma, you make that type of tweet, and then what happens is you can continue to have those recurring thoughts about that trauma. And when it's in the forefront like that, it's easier for those triggers to come. So you actually need to have therapy to really get to a point where you're kind of uprooting that bad root that's been in you for so long. And the thing is, the more it's kind of, I'll give you a quick crash course when it comes to mental health. And so you have a traumatic thought or a negative thought in your head. So the more so say the thought's been planted in your head, right? So the seed is there, and the more you don't try to uproot that thing and through therapy and things like that, the more you hold it in. It's kind of like a tree. Like the tree is as big as it is, underneath it is on top, so that root continues to go further and further down and further down and further down and further down, further down, all the times, all the years, and the time that you hold it in, think you can do it yourself, that just continues to like create that root, and it becomes really hard to uproot that whole thing. And it's a long process to uproot that thing typically, in order to just really be healed from that experience. So kudos to the ones who are speaking out. All right. Flavor of the week. Flavor of the week. This is funny. All right, so let's do let me address this real quick. Brad Maddox and Mike Adamley, for sure. Maddox had a lot of potential. I've had Brad Maddox on the show actually. He had a lot of potential actually. With Mike Adamley, man, as much as I love the Gladiator, I love old school Gladiators. Every single Saturday night, I used to watch the American Gladiators. I loved the Gladiators, and I was a big fan. Still am. Mike Adamley is the man. Okay, pro wrestling just wasn't his deal. Okay, and I was such a Mike Adamley advocate. They switched. They had him GM. When they had him ECW, play-by-play, then GM, they were just kind of bouncing around. And I was like, oh, man, I'm such an Almy guy. But this isn't working out for you, buddy. So definitely Matt Adamley. Okay, so let's do this. We can do this. Most memorable Undertaker matches of all time. Actually, patrons, we'll talk about this later, Kyle. I give patrons first dib. I got patrons first dib. So any of the patrons, you get first dib of what flavor of the week is. All right, so let's do this. Adam's a page. Mike Adamley. Antoine's a patron. Favorite Extreme Rules pay-per-view and matches. Okay, let's do that real quick. So for patron member, on request of patron member Mo, let's do the flavor of the week. Here we go. Not that one. This one.
It is now time for the flavor of the week.
And on behalf of that, I got to play this, man. I think this is going to be a weekly running joke.
That's my line! That's my line! That's
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so favorites. Yeah, Alma agrees. I kept in what happened to me 43 years. So I'll talk about it. So flashbacks, PTSD, getting help to deal with it. Glad you're getting help, Alma. Glad you're getting help. Major kudos to you. All right, so what is your favorite Extreme Rules pay-per-view and match? PNP Nation, what you got? We got a few minutes left. Favorite match and pay-per-view. Favorite match and pay-per-view. What you got? What you got? I gotta show the knee drops. Yeah, remind me about that, Aaron. Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's funny. Gotta show those knee drops. And that jumping, clearly Jay Lethal had so much adrenaline. He did a jumping elbow drop into the onto the ramp. I mean the steel uh, entry ramp area, beginning of the entry ramp. All right, so Antoine doesn't know. I gotta remember. You're the one who chose it. All right. So favorite I'll give you the main events of all the oh no, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that because some of it might be trivia before Extreme Rules come up. So obviously the PNP Nation don't care too much about Extreme Rules. So Extreme Rules started in 2009. As far as match, as far as I remember, the Cena Batista Last Man Standing was pretty good. Okay, so McIntyre and Ziggler's being marketed as a steel cage match. So there's your stip. According to Wikipedia, you can't always trust Wikipedia. But looks like steel cage match. Do I think Jay will work in WWE? NXT, yes. NXT, yeah. Jay Lewis is actually my favorite wrestler right now. Steven think that was a good one. Welcome Steven to the show. Steven is a newbie. Welcome Steven to the PNP Nation. Ryback Punk. Was it Ryback Punk? No, I don't think so. That was the one with Brad Maddox. So no, that was a cage match, right? Let me see. That was Hell in a Cell, 2012. That was Hell in a Cell. Total newbie. Stephen says, well, welcome to the show. Evolution Shield. Lesnar versus Cena 2012 was kind of good. Yeah. It was decent. Edge versus Hardy 2009. Definitely. And then CM Punk cast in. Yep. Punk versus Orton 2011. Last Man Standing. Yeah, that was pretty good. Cool. All right, PNP Nation. I think that is good enough for now. Great flavor of the week topic. So here's what we're going to do. Again, two things. One, I'm going to start having the patrons have dibs on what we're going to watch or the flavor of the week topic. All right, so patrons will have first dibs on that. For one, and for two, again, formatting change. Just to let you know, from PNP starts at 11 o'clock. But we're going to start. I got an opportunity. I got a deal. I cashed in on my popularity, as Brian would say. And the interviews that I have every week will now be a part of the Sports Kita Instagram Live at 11 o'clock. So my first 30 minutes of PNP has now been merged to Sports Kita. So every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, I will be going live on Instagram on the Sports Kita Instagram Live page. That will be my interview section. And then back at it here, 11:30 every Tuesday. As you see, Lots of fun every single week on the Pancakes and Powerslam show. And we're going to have fun as we do each and every week. Big shout out to the newbies this week. Lots of new faces when it comes to the PNP Nation. So be sure to follow me at Chris Prolific right there. Follow me at Chris Prolific. Go to www.patreon.com/pancakes and powerslams. $5.99 a month, y'all. Just support the show. Show me some love. And yeah, good stuff, y'all. Lots of fun as always. 430 episodes in the book. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I'll do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.